from the All Indiana Podcast Network. This is AC's Conversations. AC's Conversations is about sports, music, TV, movies, and more.
It's everything and more.
Everything is ready to go.
That include the latest news and rumors, along with interviews with the biggest names in sports and entertainment. This is AC's Conversations with your host, News 8 Sports Director.
The man is the real deal.
Let's go to work, fella.
Anthony Calhoun.
Hi, everybody. Anthony Calhoun here. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of AC's Conversations. And today, we're going to have some fun and get a chance to spend some time with a friend of mine who has a big pulse of the sports scene here in Indianapolis. He's the president of the Indiana Sports Corp, Ryan Vaughn. Boy, have they been busy, and what a year it has been for himself and his staff. Last January, they get the news that they're going to be the host for the entire NCAA men's basketball tournament. You throw in that, the Final Four as well. Not only that, the Big Ten basketball tournament, the Big Ten football championship. Then you got the college football playoff championship game and so much more. Did it all within a year. Unbelievable. Sit back, relax, enjoy this conversation with Ryan Vaughn. We talk about what's happening next for the great city of Indianapolis as well when it comes to the sports scene here in the Circle City. Oh, I am so delighted to have a good friend of mine join us on AC's Conversations, the president of the Indiana Sports Corp. You all know the name. Ryan Vaughn here with us on this episode of AC's Conversation. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. I know here we are, latter part of January, making our way into February. But what a year it has been for yourself and your entire team just coming off that college football playoff championship game. Have you had a chance to rest at all after coming off that big weekend?
Oh, thanks, AC. It's always great to be with you, and love to start by just saying thank you for all you do for our mission. But yeah, most definitely. My wife and I spent a week in Mexico last week on the beach, soaking up some sun and sleeping and relaxing. But I'm back and ready to tackle a really, really fun 2022 ahead of us. So.
Yeah, you think about what has transpired already this year in this short month here as we get ready for February. But take us through, just that championship weekend and that championship week when you think about it. I mean, you heard over and over again just great reviews about the job that yourself, the city, all the folks coming together to make it a great weekend for the folks from Georgia and, of course, Alabama.
Yeah, this was kind of a unique event. It really, even though we hosted a college football conference championship just a few weeks prior to this, the college football playoff was really elevated, and I should start by just giving a lot of credit, not all the credit, to Susan Boffman and the team of volunteers that formed that host committee, because they spent 4 years really under some extraordinarily difficult circumstances. Certainly the last two. Planning and executing, and the reviews were great. The mayor forwarded myself and Susan and Leonard a note that he received from an Alabama fan, a handwritten letter, which I thought was very nice, that said that they were a little leery to come to Indianapolis in the cold and weren't sure that we'd be excited to host two SEC schools. And she said it was the best national championship she had been to, and of course, if you're an Alabama fan, you've been to several.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah, wow.
It went really well, and again, it's the people in this community that make it happen, and all the hard work that goes in leading up to it. But yeah, really an extraordinary moment for Indianapolis for sure.
I love it indeed. I had sent out earlier in the week this video of the media lounge, and you want to talk about a video that just kind of went viral. I mean, it was almost over 50,000 views on it. Folks just so impressed of how you guys, treated, catered the media, giving them some outlets, if you will, after, doing all the work during the day. Now, for folks like me, who have been here for a long time, but also know how you guys do events, nothing new for me. But I knew once I sent that video out, man, that it was going to take off because it was impressive. I mean, what was the reviews you got from the media members, the over 1,000 media members here for that big game?
Yeah, they were thrilled. In that media workroom / break room / entertainment room was certainly a big part of it. Our mission is really, to not only drive economic activity in our community, but to build our brand globally and nationally as a vibrant city. And you and I have talked about this several times, but it's the people that tell our story that we want to make sure really experience Hoosier hospitality at its height. And that's not only the fans and the athletes and the coaches and the ADs. It's the folks that are writing the stories, showing up on camera. And so we really want to wrap our arms around them, let them know how special they are, and making sure they're having a good time. And so it's an area of focus every time we host every event, for sure.
Yeah, I love it. And from my media friends, they were just blown away of just the hospitality and just the stadium itself, and just just how everything was done that weekend. And what can you take away, my friend, from having the biggest game in college football? Is it something you hope you guys can get down the road? What can you take away from that big weekend?
Well, I think we all kind of forget that the college football championship is still a relatively new property. It's not like it's been around for 50 years. And so it continues to grow. And I think, this community added to that. I think the event, they'll take several things away from this event, and, much like we did for the Super Bowl, add to the Super Bowl. And so, I think it'll continue to help us attract, whether it's, professional championships or, special professional events like an NBA All-Star and things of that nature. But certainly in the college space, it doesn't really get any better than that calendar year, right? I mean, you host all of March Madness, the men's Final Four, and the college football national championships.
Right.
Those are the premier championships in all of college.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And to be able to do that in less than 12 months, I think was certainly a resume builder for our community. And in the world of college championship sports, if you didn't already know, now you know. We can do it, and we can do it well.
I remember, just you talk about this whole year span of what you guys have been able to accomplish in this city as well, and all these big events here in town. It was around this time, probably a couple weeks prior to this time, where we had the big announcement that the NCAA tournament, the entire tournament, was coming to Indy, which is in itself is amazing that you guys were able to pull that off, and unbelievable. But so here we are getting ready for February, and I know there's this documentary that's going to be taking center stage mid-February that has a lot to do with how in the world that you guys pulled this off with the entire NCAA tournament coming to Indy. Take us through this documentary, man. I know a lot of folks looking forward to it. I believe it's February the 23rd, right? That's the day it debuts. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, February 23rd in the early evening at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. If people want tickets, they're free and open to the public for that screening. They can just go to our website, indianasportscorp.org, and download those. But this documentary was actually something that was a gift from our board, and it really predated COVID. It was an opportunity for us to kind of look back on the prior 40 plus years of our history and tell that story about how the sports strategy has built Indianapolis and contributed positively to Indianapolis from an economic standpoint, from an identity standpoint, like we just spoke about, a national identity standpoint, and from community building. And so we were sort of in the process of interviewing all the people that have been part of that. And then all of a sudden COVID hit, and then all of a sudden we were presented with this opportunity to do March Madness. And so the title for the documentary is, Made for This Moment. And it really talks about that great history that led to the moment in early January of 2021, where we got the phone call that said, hey, can you all, in a matter of, literally just a few weeks, rally as a community and help us, NCAA, host all of March Madness in the Final Four. And it was because of all of the work that preceded that phone call that we were able to come together and do it and help the NCAA. And in the same token, the NCAA trusting us with that event was tremendous for a community in our downtown in particular that was struggling at the time. And so it's sort of a movie in two parts, but one necessarily helps feed the narrative of the other. And so I hope people enjoy it. It'll be great.
Yeah. So can you give us a little insight on what we can expect to see in this documentary?
Yeah, you're going to see, everything from commentary and video from some of our founding fathers and early leaders of our mission, and also, a look back at a lot of the the great events that we've hosted. And then about halfway through, you kind of get to, what is this March Madness opportunity. And you'll hear from a lot of people who are behind the scenes, trying to overcome challenges that, frankly, you may not have known were challenges at the time, or at least we hope you didn't know they were challenges at the time. But, there's things never work perfectly during an event. Our goal is to make it feel perfect for the fans. And so you'll just get a little peek behind the curtain about some of what it takes to execute these things and how many people have to come together for it to be successful.
Well, I cannot wait. Coming up on February the 23rd at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. That's at 7 o'clock. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
7 o'clock. And once again, if they want to get tickets, what do they need to do again?
Just go to our website, indianasportscorp.org, and then click on our events page, and you'll see the link straight for the documentary.
Love it. So here we are for February. Then we got that looking forward to. We can look forward to that. That is for the documentary. And then after that, we thought we had enough March Madness last year. Hello, back again this year. We got the men's and the women's Big Ten basketball tournament for the second year in a row here. And then we've got the first and second rounds, if you will, of the men's NCAA tournament at the Fieldhouse. It is going to be wild. So take us through that. I know you guys are looking forward to that. And I said this last year. I know you can't go on record saying this, but the Big Ten tournament, men's and women's, it should be here every year. So that's just my plug there. But anyway, how excited are you for those couple weeks here in March?
Yeah, well, I'm happy to go on record saying it should be here every year.
Okay, that's right.
But yeah, no, I'm very excited for March. We
I know you were in negotiations still, so I didn't want to mess things up. That's why I said it. But go ahead, you're good.
Yeah, no, we tip off with women's basketball March 2nd at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and I think we've hosted that event 27 years out of its history. So and we've got some great teams. I mean, IU, as you know, is playing really, really well. So excited about that. Let's not forget our friends at the Horizon League.
That's correct.
They tip off at Indiana Farmers Coliseum on March 7th. And then we're right back, at the end of that week into the men's tournament, which starts on March 9th back at Gainbridge. So, yeah, lots of basketball in a couple different venues. And then though we were able to host the entire March Madness last year, we do tip off the tournament itself back in Gainbridge Fieldhouse on March 17th. So you're really in Gainbridge Fieldhouse from really March 2nd through March 19th with all kinds of basketball. It'll be really exciting.
Yeah, and so I know you probably get asked this at times. I know folks who don't have access to you like I do, and some of the media members. So we kind of know how you guys put this on, but how do you get through a month like, March with so much going on with your staff? Communication's got to be number one, right? And everyone's staying in their lane?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, communication and culture, really. We preach that. Our goal, we call it the 3 Ps. We want you to be positive, productive, and progressive. So, bring your best attitude to work, deliver high-quality work product on time, and make sure you're always keeping your eyes open and learning new things and helping out your teammates. It helps, that the people are really passionate about our mission. They're passionate about sports and college sports in particular. It also helps, I think, to know that there's an end date, right? It feels like something is maybe a little bit easier to invest in if you know that, hey, I just need to make it through March, right? And I can go back and hug my wife and take my family out to dinner. But the team is really excited about it. But the real answer to your question is how do we make it through this? It's the volunteers that come out and really take a lot of the weight off our shoulders when we're in multiple different venues and at the same time with multiple partners and teams. We really rely on the people that give their time to make these events special, and they do a great job.
So if folks want to volunteer, what do they need to do? Because I know you guys rely heavily on volunteers, and I think that's why, as you mentioned, we get so many great reviews about Indy when it comes to these big sporting events because folks interact with these volunteers all the time.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And if I had already said it, I need to say it now. That the feedback we received from people at the College Football National Championship was all about Indy's people and our volunteers in particular. And so you just can't thank people enough. It's not it's not just words. I hear it from event rights holders who have their events in other states, and I hear it even from my peers in other cities and states. The people of Indianapolis and the entire state volunteer at a different level, and they give it all, and it makes it really special. But the best way to get engaged with us, again, is just to head back to that website, indianasportscorp.org, and there's a tab on volunteering, and it'll take you right through the whole process. It's really easy just to register. You can indicate what events you may be more passionate about than others, and then we'll start communicating with you right away on those opportunities.
All right, Ryan. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on AC's Conversations, my man. And I have the utmost respect for you and your team and just all the wonderful things you guys are doing to make this city so great, and also let people know how legit this town is when it comes to big sporting events. So I can't wait. February the 23rd. That's the big date of this documentary, just showcasing just how special this city is when it comes to sports, and really keying in on what took place in March last year for the entire NCAA basketball tournament here in the Circle City. Man, still, I'll never forget that moment. What a time it was for our great city, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And we hope everyone comes out and enjoys it. And again, thank you, AC, for all you do for our mission here. It's very special. So,
all right, man. You. Well, I appreciate it. And I know you got a big-time tan on you, too, but in Mexico, and you little lucky dog, you. It's a nice weather. Indeed. All right, brother. Thank you so much. Ryan, we will connect with you soon, all right?
Sounds great. Thanks. Take care.
Okay. A big thank you to Ryan Vaughn for joining me here on AC's Conversations. Always great spending time with Ryan. And a big thanks to you for listening to the podcast this episode. Don't forget, we're always a part of the All Indiana Podcast Network. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time on AC's Conversations.
Discover more at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Plus, be sure to follow and subscribe to the AC's Conversations podcast and others on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Connect now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.